Hi, class. I'm here to briefly talk about building a report structure as your stakeholder analysis is not an academic essay, and that means we're trying a different genre, and that genre is the genre of reports. So I'm just going to kind of overview what reports are in the real world, right outside the walls of academia. Um, but the important thing for your stakeholder analysis is going to be that you at least attempt to get outside those normal essay conventions. So while you will cite in MLA or APA, and you'll need a works cited page, everything else should look different from that traditional MLA formatted essay. So let's talk a little bit about how to do that. So, what is a report? Reports are the purpose of reports are to give reader information. So they are persuasive, but they are more than just being persuasive. They are meant to be informative. But then they're also hoping to go the next step further with that information, and they're asking the reader to do something with that information. It may be something huge, but and it may be something small, but they have the person that picks the report up off from their desk is going to do something. So reports can be used to suggest new ideas and options, to ask people to accept a new point of view, to influence decisions, to ask people to make choices between alternative recommendations. And all that is done by giving the reader thoughtful and well researched information. So, again, you can have some freedom in how you'd like to organize your report, but here are the traditional conventions of the report. So usually there's a title or title page. I think you'll see in my examples they attempted both. So you can have a title page, you can have a title, but just make it, again, it you don't need a running header, you don't need any of those things that we associate with that like 5-page essay, the 5-paragraph persuasive essay. We're pushing beyond these things to a more purposeful convention. And then there's going to be introduction, discussion, findings, body, and then conclusions at the end. So that's kind of like the traditional structure. So let's talk about the title page. Make sure that your title is informative and purposeful. So remember that the point of this report is asking your audience to do something. So you want them to have that kind of in their head right away. And then this is kind of cheesy, but think, is it Googleable? So is this something catchy? Is it going to catch the eye of someone that's just surfing the internet, or of the person that you are directly sending this to? So then in the introduction reports, there's not like a sneak attack at the end where you say, and this is what I meant for you to do the whole time. You need to overview everything in the introduction. So your readers should be able to read the introduction, and that's really what they need. If they want more detailed information, they can obviously keep going, but you need to give them the meat of the information in the introduction. And then you can repeat later and then elaborate. So these are some of the things you may include. Who's your audience? What's the topic? What's the reason for the report? I think this is really helpful. This is kind of what I'm saying about an outline. You can do a mapping statement of the background of the report. So you say, in this report, I will do X, Y, and Z. So then in your conclusions, you don't want to be too repetitive. Basically, you just want to remind your reader exactly what they are supposed to do next. So what did you find? Why does this matter? How does this answer either your research question, which is what your thesis is in your stakeholder analysis, or if it's something else, which you will be doing later, how does this answer the problem that you've posed? So then conclusions come from the work that you've done. So again, don't be repetitive. Say something new in your conclusion where you say, this is sort of a summative statement of what you need to do right now moving forward. Keep the conclusion really simple. So I'll just kind of fly through this. These are formal reports. This is once you get out into the workforce. Honestly, some of you may have already written some of these. So I call these the boring reports. These are going to be really strictly informational, and they're technically called formal reports. So this is where you'll see a lot of reported data, and they are not quite as fun as what we're doing in class. And then, so this is what you're doing. Technically, your stakeholder analysis is a feasibility report because you will be proposing later. But informal reports, meeting minutes, expense reports, status updates, trips or conference reports, proposals, or feasibility reports. So these purposes are more informal in that they have a higher level of persuasive quality to them. Okay, so that's all for the proposal structure. I want to remind you that headings and subheadings are going to be kind of key for this. I think it'll really help you organize your information and get a little bit into that realm of a business proposal, of informal or formal report. So make sure that you are integrating those. Again, the important thing is that you try here. I'm not going to be judging you for stylistic qualities. It doesn't have to be designed beautifully. We'll work on design for the next project, but for this, just try and step outside the boundaries. Step outside your comfort zone. All right. Thanks for listening.